Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار أما بعد. Brothers and sisters in Islam, one of the most interesting dynamics of our religion is the unique method that it uses to make us see value in the things that we normally don't see or consider meritorious. As Muslims, we are accountable for the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are responsible for the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala considers important and valuable, despite the fact that we may not see much value in it. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he mentioned in an authentic hadith, لن تزول قدم عبد يوم القيامة حتى يسأل عن أربع, that the one foot of the child of Adam will not move one footstep until he is asked about four things. That you will not move one footstep on the day of judgment until you are asked about four things. عن عمره فيما أفنى, you will be asked about your life and how you spent it. You will be asked about your life and how you spent it. وَعَنْ شَبَابِهِ فِي مَا أَبْلَى, and you will be asked about your youth and how you wasted it. فِي مَا أَبْلَى, you will be asked about your youth and how you wasted it. وَعَنْ مَالِهِ مِنْ أَيْنَ اكْتَسَبَهُ وَفِي مَا أَنْفَقَهُ, and you will be asked about your wealth, how you earned it and in how you spent it. You'll be asked about your wealth, how you earned it and how you spent it. وَعَنْ عِلْمِهِ مَاذَا عَمِلَ فِيهِ, and you will be asked about your knowledge and what you did with it. Four things that you will be asked about. Within this hadith, implicated in this hadith, is another matter of value that we are responsible for and that we will be questioned about, as it is implied in this particular hadith, and that is time. Time is our agency. We will be asked about time. You'll be asked about your umr, your life, and how you spent it. And Shaykh Uthaymeen rahimahullah ta'ala, in his explanation of this hadith, he said this doesn't mean your life, all of it, This doesn't mean an hour from your life, a month from your life, a year from your life, 10 years, a decade from your life. This means that you will be asked about every single moment, every single second of your life and how you spent it. Every single moment of your life you will be asked, because every single moment of your life is a ni'mah, is a blessing. And we will be asked about all of the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us, as Allah says in the Quran, ثُمَّ لَتُسْأَلُونَ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ. And then on that day you will be asked about every na'im, yani every ni'mah, every blessing that Allah gave you, you will be asked about it. And unfortunately, there are many things in life that we have very little to no control over. We don't have control over in what type of environments we are born in. We don't have control over who our parents are. We don't have control over how we look when we come out of the wombs of our mothers. We don't have control over a lot of things. We don't have control over our socio-economic status when we are born into this world. We have no control over that. And one of the other things that we have no control over is time. Time is something that you can't pay for. Time is something that you can't bargain with, you can't negotiate with, you can't make compromises with. Once it's gone, it's gone. You can't get it back. As Hasan al-Basri, rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, Ya ibn Adam, innama anta ayyam, idha dhahaba yawmun dhahaba ba'du. O child of Adam, you are nothing more than mere numbered days. Every time a day goes by, a part of you goes by. You cannot get that back. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all throughout the Quran, He highlights the importance of time. Sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala underscores the importance of time, our most valuable asset, by swearing by it. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. That indeed, وَالْعَصْرِ, by time, I swear by time. The wow here is called wow al-qasam. This is one of the ways that Allah swears by something. وَالشَّمْسِ وَالضُّحَاهَا وَالْقَلَمِ وَمَا يَسْطُرُونَ. Allah swears by it. This is called wow al-qasam. The way that Allah swears by something to draw your attention to it, to show you how important it is. So Allah swears by time. وَالْعَصْرِ. By time. I swear by time. إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. That the human being will be in evident loss. Meaning if he does not take advantage of it. Other times Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows us the importance of time by highlighting the unappreciation of those who, when they come Yawm al-Qiyamah, they will be regretful over the time that they wasted in this life. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, حَتَّى إِذَا جَاءَ أَحَدَهُمُ الْمَوْتِ قَالَ رَبِّ رِجِعُونَ لَعَلِّي أَعْمَلُ صَالِحًا فِيمَا تَرَكْتُ. Until when death comes to one of them, they say, قَالَ رَبِّ رِجِعُونَ, oh my Lord, send me back. Send me back to the life of this world. لَعَلِّي أَعْمَلُ صَالِحًا فِيمَا تَرَكْتُ. Perhaps I can go back and do some righteous deeds that I forgot to do the first time, that I neglected to do the first time, that I failed to do the first time. And there is no coming back. As Allah says at the end of that ayah, كَلَّا إِنَّهَا هِيَ كَلِمَةٌ هُوَ قَائِلُهَا. No, this is just a word that comes out of their mouth. No reality to it. No reality to it. There is no coming back. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in another ayat in the Quran, أَوْ تَقُولَ لَوْ أَنَّ اللَّهَ هَدَانِي لَكُنْتَ مِنَ الْمُتَّقِينَ. And the soul will at least say on the day of judgment that if Allah had guided me, then I would have been amongst the righteous. أَوْ تَقُولَ حِينَ تَرَى الْعَذَابِ لَوْ أَنَّ لِي كَرَّةٍ فَأَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. If God was to give me just another chance, لَوْ أَنَّ لِي كَرَّةٍ, that if I had just one more chance. Think about all of the time that we've wasted. All of the time that goes by throughout our day. And this is especially true right now while many of us sit on the couch, we watch TV after show, binge watching Netflix, show after show after show, letting time go by. Right now, none of us have any excuse. And I'm not saying that you have to dedicate your entire day, but a great portion of your day should be spent reading the Quran, making dhikr, making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have nothing but time. Right now, as we're being quarantined in our houses, we know exactly what an inmate feels like. Trapped inside his cell for 24 hours a day, 23 hours a day. We know exactly what that feels like now. We make excuses to go out. I need to run to the store. I need to run to Walmart. We find any store that is still open to make an excuse for us to leave out. Now we know what that feels like. And just yesterday, we had the world at our fingertips, and today, everything taken away from us. And for some of us, we still haven't grasped, we still haven't understood the importance of what's happening here and how this is a blessing in disguise for us as Muslims. A blessing in disguise. But the soul will say, "Lo anna li karratan," if I had one more chance, I would be from amongst the righteous doers. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Bala qad ja'atka ayati fakadhabta biha wastakbarta wa kunta min al-kafirin." No, that our signs came to you one after another, fakadhabta biha, and you denied and belied every single one of them. Wastakbarta biha, and you were arrogant, wa kunta min al-kafirin, and you were amongst those who disbelieve. So stay there. You get exactly what you deserve. Wasted your entire life away. And gossiping, qila wa qal, Netflix, this show, that show, and wasting your life away. At other times, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala highlights the importance of time by citing those who deny the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or deny a power greater than themselves that is able to destroy them, citing time as their only nemesis. Talking about the atheists, those who during the time of the Prophet ﷺ and even before, who cited time as their only nemesis. Totally rejecting God, totally rejecting the idea that there's a God who put time in place. If we are impacted and affected by time, then the one who created it has to be greater than it. So they cited time as their only nemesis, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَقَالُوا مَا هِيَ إِلَّا حَيَاتُنَا الدُّنْيَا نَمُوتُ وَنَحْيَا وَمَا يُهْلِكُنَا إِلَّا الدَّهْرِ. And the disbelievers, they say, وَمَا هِيَ إِلَّا حَيَاتُنَا الدُّنْيا, there's nothing but our life. نَمُوتُ وَنَحْيَا, we live and we die. وَمَا يُهْلِكُنَا إِلَّا الدَّهْرِ, and the only thing that can destroy us is time. Not realizing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is time. As the Prophet ﷺ mentioned in the authentic hadith, يَسُبُّ بَنُوا آدَمْ الدَّهْرَ وَأَنَا الدَّهْرَ بَيْنَ يَدَيَ اللَّيْلَ وَالنَّهَارِ. The Prophet ﷺ said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَسُبُّ بَنُوا آدَمْ الدَّهْرَ, that the children of Adam, they curse time. They curse time as their own nemesis. Oh, I wish I had more time. Oh, woe is me, time is of the essence. Cursing time. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَنَا الدَّهْرَ, and I am time. بَيْنَ يَدَيْ اللَّيْلَ وَالنَّهَارِ, I control the day and the night. God is in control. Nonetheless, time is of the essence. In our case, seeing as though time is moving by very quickly, as the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, that the closer and closer that we get to the last days, the less barakah, the less blessing there will be in time. If you think about it today, the moment you go to sleep, you close your eyes, it's almost time for, it's like fajr, like you never even went to sleep. Soon as you close your eyes and you move, you wake up, it's time for Salatul Fajr. Your parents are waking you up for Fajr. As husband and wife were waking each other up for Salatul Fajr. Almost as if I just closed my eyes. Because there is no barakah in the time. We look around, we say, I'm going to go take a shower, I'm going to do this. And before you know it, by the time you're dressed, so much time has passed. Because there is no barakah, no blessing in the time. As the Prophet ﷺ, he said, as it was mentioned in the Musnad of Imam Ahmed, لا تقوم الساعة حتى يتقارب الزمان, that the last hour will not come about until time moves by very quickly. فتكون السنة كالشهر, that a year will seem like a month. A whole entire year will go by and it only seems like a month. Like only a month. 2019 went by very quickly. And here we are, almost moving very quickly into the 4th month of 2020. We're almost halfway through 2020. 2 more months will be halfway through 2020, and it just started. Look how quickly time is moving by because there's no barakah in it, no blessing in it. You get very little done in a large amount of time. Very little done because there's no barakah in it. But the Prophet ﷺ said, فَتَكُونُ السَّنَةَ كَالشَّهْرِ, that a year will seem like a month. وَيَكُونُ الشَّهْرَ كَالْجُمُعَةِ, and a month will seem like a week. وَتَكُونُ جُمُعَةَ كَالْيَوْمِ, and a week will seem like a day. It seemed like we was just here yesterday having Jumu'ah last week. Wallah al-Azim. It seemed like we was just here yesterday. And here we are here again today for another Jumu'ah. We blinked our eyes for 6 days, and 7th day here we are at Jumu'ah one more time. And next week it will seem the same way. I will open up my camera, begin the khutbah, and it will seem like it was just yesterday we had a khutbah. Just yesterday. This is the lack of barakah in the time. We have to pay attention to what is happening. He said the Jumu'ah will go by like a week, like a day. وَيَكُونُ الْيَوْمِ كَالسَّاعَةِ, and a day will go by like an hour. وَتَكُونُ السَّاعَةِ كَاحْتِرَاقِ السَّعَفَةِ يعني الْخَوْصَةِ, that the hour will go by like minutes. Short spans of time. An hour goes by very quickly. And some of the scholars, they say that qillatul barakah, the lack of barakah in our time, the lack of blessing in our time, is with the increase of technology. The increase of technology, which causes our connections to have very little quality. Look at parents, look at children. We say social distancing. We have already been socially distanced. You find husband and wife sitting at a table for dinner at a restaurant. He's on his phone, she's on her phone. That's social distancing. They're not socially distanced physically. They're socially distanced emotionally, psychologically, on two totally different pages, on two totally different times, two totally different mindsets. He's going this way, she's going that way. She's in pursuit of this, he's in pursuit of that. This is social distancing that has been unfortunately cultivated by technology, the increase in technology. So much so that our connections today, we have a deeper connection with technology than we do with the human beings that matter in our own lives. We have a deeper connection with technology, connected with our phones. Look at a person when they're on their phone, connected, engaged. But then look at the way that the person is connecting with the other people in their lives. Disengaged, emotionally, psychologically, mentally, and sometimes even physically. The scholars, they say, قَدْ يَكُونُ مَعْنَاهُ ذَهَابَ الْبَرَكَ مِنَ الْوَقْتِ. Some of the scholars say that means that the ذَهَابَ الْبَرَكَ, the lack of barakah, the lack of blessing in the time, is that the time will go by very quickly. Not enough time to do what you need to do. قال الشيخ بن باز رحمه الله تعالى أن يقصر اليوم قصرا حسيا فتمر ساعات الليل والنهار مرورا سريعا. Sheikh bin Baz, he said that this means that time will go by very quickly. The day will pass very quickly. The night will pass very quickly. Do you guys not see how this is happening right now? This is happening right now as we speak. And unfortunately, as we can see clearly today, that time goes by very quickly and people accomplish much less within the time that they have because there is simply no blessing in the time or very little blessing in it. And much of our human connections are very superficial as a result of it because time won't allow us to establish any quality connections. Time won't allow us to establish quality connections. And this might help to explain the emptiness that many people experience, including Muslims. Today we're at home, but we're constantly on social media, constantly engaged with social media. Meanwhile, you're at home with your parents, you're at home with your children. Think about how many times before this calamity that has befallen us happened. Think about how many times we say, oh, I just want to go home. I don't spend enough time with my children. I don't have enough time to do this and do that. And now you have nothing but time. And we spend most of it on social media. Most of it totally disengaged. Parents can't wait until school starts again because they're tired of their children. Tired of your children. I'm not saying that children don't work your nerves. Yes, they do. But there's nothing that is more pleasing to the eye than for a man or woman to wake up and see their children alive, see their children healthy, see their children smiling faces. There's nothing that is more pleasing than that. It's like when we don't have it, we want it. And then when we have it, we don't want it. And we need to make our minds up as human beings what we want. And this is coupled with the fact that there are way too many distractions. The internet alone counts for most of our preoccupation, breeding its own brand of ADD, attention deficit disorder, wherein many people have allowed, social media have allowed the internet to interfere with one of the core requisites of Iman, and that is to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Think about the 2 hours that you spend watching a movie and how much time you spend reading the Quran. Where is the balance? Where is the balance? You spend 2 hours watching a movie, 2.5 hours watching a movie, and not 1 minute reading the Quran. Not even a glance. As Imam Ahmed rahimahullah ta'ala, sometimes he would just open the Mus'haf and look at it. He said, because another fil Mus'haf lahu sha'in. That even looking at the Mus'haf, it has its own barakah, it has its blessing, just opening the Mus'haf and looking at it. And many of us, days go by and we won't even open the Quran and look at it. But yet we'll sit on our phones, we'll sit and watch TV for hours on end and not pick up the Quran one time. Not engage and connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala one time. And this is one of the core requisites of our Iman, and that is to establish a firm remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout our day, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَتَطْمَئِنُّ قُلُوبُهُم بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبُ. Those who believe and those whose hearts find tranquility with the remembrance of Allah. Indeed, it is with the remembrance of Allah that hearts find tranquility. Indeed, it is with the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that the hearts find peace, hearts find tranquility. Imam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala said, إِنَّ فِي الدُّنْيَا جَنَّةً مَنْ لَمْ يَدْخُلْهَا لَمْ يَدْخُلْ جَنَّةَ الْآخِرَةِ. That in this life, in this world, there is a Jannah, there's a paradise. He who does not enter into the paradise of this world will not enter into the paradise in the hereafter. The paradise of this world is the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You want a great escape? The greatest way to escape the trials, the tribulations, the adversities of this life, the calamities of this life is the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبُ. Isn't it with the remembrance of Allah that the hearts find tranquility? The hearts find peace. Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he said, التمس قلبك في ثلاث مواضع. Try to find your heart present. Try to find your heart in 3 places. في قراءة القرآن. When you are reading the Quran, try to find that your heart is present. Your heart is there, engaged. وحيلك الذكر. And in the circles of knowledge, when you're sitting, listening to a person imparting knowledge upon you, disseminating knowledge to you, try to find that your heart is engaged. وَعِنْدَ الْخَلْوَةِ. And when you are alone, try to find that your heart, and God forbid, many of us, we don't want to be home alone. When we're home alone, we got to have the TV on in every single room, got to be playing music, got to be engaged. Because God forbid we are alone with our own thoughts. God forbid we are home alone with our own thoughts. There are some people right now that are engaging in haram behaviors simply because they are alone, they are home by themselves. And I can guarantee you, I can guarantee you that being single right now is not the move. I can guarantee you that there are people home right now wishing that they had a spouse to share their space with. But when the doors are open and you're free to go out into the world and roam and have your freedom and your liberty and all of the things that you think give you so much validation, but when those doors are closed and you're home alone, you're wishing that you had a spouse home alone with you. You're wishing that you had somebody to share that time with. Wishing that you had, and this is why we've turned to social media. For the likes, for the reposts, for the attention, because attention is the new currency. This is what gives us validation. This is what gives us substantiation. We feel the stamp of approval as I got likes, I got reposts. Meanwhile, you're sitting at home alone. Now it's not cool to be single. This is the time when it's cool to have a spouse by your side. This is the time when it's cool to have somebody to share your life with, to share your space with. I can guarantee you that. All of that tough talk about being single and being on your own and being independent and celebrating your independence from relationships, all of that goes out of the window now in times like this. In times like this, all of that goes out of the window. You wishing that you had somebody to share your space with. Because all of your accomplishments, what does it mean if you don't have anybody to share it with? All of your accomplishments, though, you got the house, you got the car, you got the good job, you got the looks, you got the body, you got all of it. But what good is it if you don't have nobody to share it with? What good is it? But Abdullah bin Mas'ud said, try to find your heart in 3 places. When you are reading the Quran, try to find that your heart is present. When you are in the circles of knowledge and you're receiving knowledge, knowledge is being disseminated to you, try to find that your heart is present. He said, and when you are alone, just you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, try to find that your heart is present. He said, فَإِن لَمْ تَلْتَمِسْ قَلْبَكَ فِي هَذِهِ ثَلَاثُ مَوَاضِعٍ فَاسْأَلِ اللَّهَ أَنْ يَمُنَّ عَلَيْكَ بِقَلْبٍ جَدِيدٍ فَلَيْسَ لَكَ قَلْبٍ. And if you can't find your heart in these 3 places, then just simply ask Allah to give you another heart because you don't have one. If you can't find your heart in these 3 places, then simply just ask Allah to give you another heart because you don't have one. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Abdullah bin the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Ni'matan maghbunun fihima kathirun min an-nas as-sihha wa faragh." This hadith could not come at a better time in our lives. This hadith right here cannot come at a better time in our lives. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ni'matan." There are 2 blessings. 2 blessings. Maghbunun fihima kathirun min an-nas. There are many people miss out on. 2 blessings that most people do not take advantage of. 2 blessings that most people neglect. Two blessings that most people do not seize the moment, seize the opportunity to take advantage of them. As-sihha, good health, wa faragh, and free time. And there's some of us right now who have both. You have good health. You don't have to go to the hospital. You don't have any symptoms that you know of. And free time. You have nothing but time. Jobs are closed. Many people have been sent home. Many people are grounded at their homes right now. You have both of them right now. Sihha wal faragh. And what are you going to do with them? What are you going to do with them? Think about many people whose health are compromised right now. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all shifa. May Allah give us good health. May Allah give those who from amongst us are sick. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yashfihim shifa'an jalilan shifa'an aziz, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them shifa. May Allah give them, healing. But think about how many people who neglected their health. Think about how many people, Muslims, smoke cigarettes. Muslims smoke marijuana, whose lungs and whose ability, whose respiratory has been complicated. And now you're wishing that you had taken advantage of that. 2 blessings that most people miss out on, don't take advantage of: as-sihha wal faragh, good health and free time. And when I mean by free time, I mean productive free time. Not free time where we sit around and do nothing. Productive free time. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَإِذَا فَرَغْتَ فَانْصَبْ وَإِلَى رَبِّكَ فَرْغَبْ. That when you are done with your daily actions, وَإِذَا فَرَغْتَ فَانْصَبْ. When there's faragh in your life, when there's free time, when you are done with your daily activities, وَإِلَى رَبِّكَ فَرْغَبْ. Then find time for your Lord. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us what to do with our free time. When you have free time, set aside some time for you and God. Set aside time for you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even if it's just to make a dua, even if it's just to make dhikr, even if it's just to read just a couple of passages from the Quran. Set aside time for God when He has given you time. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Quran al-azim. ونفعني وإياكم بما جاء فيه من الآيات والذكر الحكيم. أقول ما تسمعون أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المؤمنين من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he said, ما ندمت على شيء ندمي على يوم غربت الشمس نقص فيه أجلي ولم يزد فيه عملي. Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he said, ما ندمت على شيء, that I was never more regretful over anything. I never regretted anything more than I regretted that day when the sun sets and part of my life is gone and my deeds did not increase. Part of my life decreased and my good deeds did not increase. Meaning a whole day goes by and part of your life has gone that you can't get back and you haven't increased in your good deeds. SubhanAllah. When too much time goes by and you haven't done anything productive, you feel horrible. I just wasted an hour of my time. I just wasted 40 minutes of my time. You should always carry something with you because you never know when you're going to be stuck somewhere and you're just sitting there twirling your fingers rather than having, the fortress of the Muslim book or having some little mushaf in your book, in your pocketbook or in your pocket or in your car where you can pull it out and just read it so that you don't waste time. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said, I was never more regretful over anything than the time when the sun sets and my life has decreased and my good deeds have not increased. I feel horrible to let a whole day go by and I haven't done anything productive. Nothing. I haven't accumulated any good deeds. And for children that are at home now, this is a prime time for you to get good deeds, to help your parents around the home, to help yourself around the home so your parents don't have to clean up after you. That makes your parents' life easier. Your parents' life become easier when you just simply clean up after yourself so your parents don't have to clean up after you. That is a good deed. Part of taking advantage of our time is using it like every other blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us in a manner that is pleasing to him. There's nothing more pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than to see his servant reading and reflecting on his words. As the Quran itself will seek shifa'ah. The Quran itself will intercede for you on the day of judgment. As the Prophet ﷺ said, Al-Quran was-siyam yashfa'ani lil-abdi yawm al-qiyamah. That the Quran and fasting will intercede on behalf of the servant on the day of judgment. Meaning, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to punish you on the day of judgment, the Quran as well as your fasting will stand up and will defend you. The Quran will say, oh my Lord, I was the one, ashartuhu bil-layl. I was the one who kept him up at night because he was reciting me at night. Ishfa'ni fi, allow me to intercede for him. The Quran will intercede for you because you spent a lot of your time reading the Quran. You spent the bulk of your time reading Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's book, so the Quran will intercede for you on the day of judgment. Fasting, your siyam, your fasting will say, oh Allah, I was the one who kept him busy and preoccupied during the day. Ishfa'ni fi, allow me to intercede for him. He spent most of his days occupied with fasting. I kept him preoccupied. Let me intercede for him. And with all of the wasting of time today, it is a wonder that we haven't reached the time where we have completely neglected neglected the Quran. You see all of these, memes and all of these posts, Muslims doing all of these dances and all of these challenges. Let's do a Quran challenge. How about you challenge yourself by taking advantage of your time and reading the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Many of us have been Muslim for many years of our lives and still don't know how to read Arabic. Still don't know how to read the Quran in the language that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed it in. In the Arabic language. You've been Muslim how many years of your life and you still don't know how to read Arabic? Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala said, اللغة العربية من الدين وفهمها واجب لأن فهم القرآن واجب وما لا يتم الواجب إلا به فهو واجب. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala in his very profound statement, he said, اللغة العربية من الدين, the language of Arabic is part of our religion. وفهمها واجب, فرض واجب, and understanding the Arabic language is an obligation. Why? Because understanding the Quran is an obligation. وَمَا لَا يُتِمُّ الْوَاجِبْ إِلَّا بِهِ فَهُوَ واجب. And if something is obligatory, something is mandatory, and you can't get to that thing except through something else, then that something else becomes mandatory as well. So if you cannot read the Quran except in the Arabic language, then learning the Arabic language also becomes an obligation. How many years of our lives are we going to let go by and we don't learn the Arabic language? Learning how to read the Quran. I'm not talking about speaking Arabic. Learning how to read the Quran is very simple. You can learn it in a matter of days. I know brothers who are in prison who learned how to read the Quran within a week. Learning the alphabet, learning how to connect the alphabet, and off you go. It's really not that difficult. It's really simple. We oversimplify it. We overcomplicate it. Learning alif, ba, ta, and then learning the letters in their 3 different positions, in the beginning form, the middle form, the ending form. To learn how to connect them is no different than learning how to connect letters, the English alphabet, in cursive. No different than learning how to connect the letters, the English alphabet, in cursive. Learning the beginning, the middle, the ending form of the letter. And then once you learn how to connect the letters, now you just need to learn the harakat, the alif, the kasra, the dhamma, the tanween. Very simple. Wallahi, if you dedicated yourself to it sincerely, like you dedicate 2, 3, 4 hours of your life binge watching this show, binge watching that show, wallah al-azim, with the help of Allah, you could do it. Asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, imploring Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his help, you could do it. You could make it happen. But we're not committed like that. We have selective commitments. We have selective things that we are committed to. But the things that we should be committed to, we allow the opportunities to pass us by over and over and over again. The Prophet Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said, يُوشِكُ أَن يَأْتِي عَلَى النَّاسِ زَمَانٌ لَا يَبْقَى مِنَ الْإِسْلَامِ إِلَّا اسْمُ وَلَا يَبْقَى مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ إِلَّا رَسْمُ مَسَاجِدُهُمْ عَامِرَةٌ وَهِيَ خَرَابٌ مِنَ الْهُدَى. The Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said, perhaps there's going to come a time upon the Muslims where there will be nothing left of Islam except the word, except the name, I'm Muslim. There will be nothing left of Islam except I'm Muslim. Wallah al-azim, you take a scroll through Instagram, you take a scroll through Facebook, and you see people who say they're Muslim, profess to be Muslim. Wallah al-azim, you don't see one trace of Islam on them. How are you Muslim? How are you Muslim and you wearing a hijab and you have your breasts out and you're rapping about Prophet Muhammad? Like, how is that Islam? Please tell me. What remnants of Islam is that? Please tell me, show me where Islam is in that. And then we do all of that in the name of Islam. We rap about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We rap about Islam. We rap about these things. You know, we package it up in a way where we believe that it's appealing to the youth, but we don't look at the damage that we are doing to the legacy of our religion. We don't look at the damage that we are doing. We're turning Islam, we're turning the religion of Islam into some hip-hop culture that appeals to only, the simple-minded youth. When great scholars of Islam, great minds, great intellects, doctors, have converted to Islam because they studied the human body, the human anatomy, and said that there's no way that a human being could have created this. There's no way that this could have been created through evolution. There has to be a higher power who brought this into existence and have converted to Islam. And today we are packaging Islam up in this hip hop, and selling it to the youth, simple-minded youth who come into Islam and add nothing. They add nothing to our religion. Wallah al-azim, we need to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see people on the internet rapping and, rapping about Islam, and that's all it takes. Meanwhile, I can sit here for an hour straight sweating, talking until my lungs are about to pop out of my throat. Trying to give you Quran and Sunnah, and it's like, yeah, mashallah, that was a good talk. And then you turn to Instagram and somebody's rapping about Islam, and we're like, mashallah, my heart almost jumped out of my chest. This is so beautiful, mashallah. What's beautiful about disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Please tell me. What is beautiful about blatantly disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and posting it on the internet for everybody to see? If you want to be a rapper, you want to do whatever you want to do that on your own time. But don't associate that with Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his messenger and the believers are free from that type of behavior. It has nothing to do with Islam. He said that perhaps there will come a time upon the Muslims where the only thing that will be left of Islam is the name. That's it. I'm Muslim. I don't eat pork. But you don't pray. You don't fast. You don't read Quran. You don't understand Al-Fatiha, something that you recite every day if you pray, and you don't even understand what it means. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. If you can even pronounce it properly, do you even understand what it means? Something that you recite 17 times a day at bare minimum, and you still don't even understand what it means. Perhaps there will come a time upon the Muslim where the only thing that will be left of Islam is the name. I'm Muslim. وَلَا يَبْقَى مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ إِلَّا رَسْمُ. The only thing that will be left of the Quran is the writing of it. No one learns it. No one understands what it means. No one acts upon it. No one implements it in their lives. Just the words of the Quran that are left, which is why at some point Allah is going to remove the Quran from the earth because we don't value it. Just like there's no barakah, no blessing in time because we don't take advantage of the time. And so therefore Allah removes the barakah from the time. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will remove the Quran, remove the barakah of the Quran from the hearts of the believers. So much so we have so many people who have memorized the Quran, yet they don't even know what it means. Ask your average hafiz of Quran. Pick a random ayah from the Quran and ask him what it means. Sounds great. Beautiful recitation. MashaAllah. Kudos to you. What does it mean? How do we understand it? And even more importantly, how do we implement it? Because the last time I checked, the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in would not learn except 10 ayats from the Quran, and they would not move on to any more until they understood what they mean, understood what those 10 ayahs meant, and then they would practice them in their lives before they would move on to the next 10. And mashallah, here today we got Quran, tahfidh al-Quran, memorizers of the Quran, yet they don't know what it means. And even worse, some people who have memorized the Quran and engage in acts that are haram. Even worse. In ending, Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, يسرى في القرآن في آخر الزمان من المصاحف ومن الصدور فلا يبقى في الصدور منه كلمة ولا في مصحف منه حرف. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala, he said that one night will pass and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will remove the Quran from the Mus'haf, remove the words from the Mus'haf, and remove the Quran from the hearts of those who've memorized it. He said there will not be any ayah from the Quran left in the hearts of those who memorize it, nor will there be any Quran left inside the Mus'haf. في آخر الزمان قبل قيام الساعة, at the last days. قبل قيام الساعة مباشرة, right before the last day. يقبض الله أرواح المؤمنين, that Allah will remove all of the believers from the earth. All of the believers will be removed from the earth. وَلَا يَبْقَى فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا شِرَارِ الْخَلْقِ, and the only people that will be left are the worst of people. Those will be the people that will be left on the earth. وَلَا تَكُونُ الصَّلَاةِ وَلَا صِيَامِ وَلَا حَجْ وَلَا صَدَقَةِ وَلَا تَكُونُ هُنَاكَ فَائِدَةً مِنْ وُجُودِ الْكَعْبَةِ وَلَا بِقَاءِ الْقُرْآنِ. He said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will remove all of the believers from the earth, and the only people that will be left on earth are the worst of people. I want you guys to pay attention, because it seems like we are moving very closely to this time. The only people that will be left on the earth will be the worst of people. He said, وَلَا تَكُونُ الصَّلَاةِ, there will be no salah. وَلَا صِيَامِ, there will be no fasting. وَلَا hajj, there will be no hajj. Right now, there's no hajj. Right now, there's no umrah. There will be no hajj. There will be no salah. Masajid are closed. The Kaaba, no one can make tawaf around the Kaaba. There's no umrah. There's no hajj. I'm not saying that that time is now. I'm just giving you a glimpse at what that time will look like in relation, in contrast to what's happening right now. You can connect the dots. There will be no salah. There will be no siyam, no fasting. Even right now, some Muslims are making preparation mentally not to fast because of the coronavirus pandemic, because we're at our homes, because we won't be able to have Eid, we won't be able to have Taraweeh. So how are we going to fast? What do you mean, how are we going to fast? Muslims have fasted in worse conditions than we are in right now. The first time the Sahaba fasted was during the Battle of Badr. They were fighting out in the desert with heavy armor on them, helmets on them, mouths dry, yet they're out there fighting while they're fasting. People have fasted in worse conditions than we are in right now. You still have a refrigerator full of food. You still have a home, a roof over your head to protect you from the sun. What would stop you from fasting? What could possibly stop you from fasting? Other than the fact that you're sick or you have a legitimate Islamic excuse. He said there will be no salat, there will be no siyam, no fasting, no salat, no hajj, wala sadaqah, and no charity. وَلَا تَكُونُ هُنَاكَ فَائِدَةً مِنْ وُجُودِ الْكَعْبَةِ, and there will be no fa'ida, no benefit in the Kaaba, because no one makes tawaf anymore, no one makes hajj anymore. وَلَا بِقَاءِ الْقُرْآنِ, nor will there be any benefit in leaving the Qur'an on the earth. فَيُقَدِّرُ اللَّهُ سُبْحَانَهُ وَتَعَالَى خَرَابِ الْكَعْبَةِ عَلَى يَدِي كَافِرٍ مِنَ الْحَبَشَةِ وَيُرْفَعُ الْقُرْآنِ مِنَ الْأَرْضِ فَلَا تَبْقَى مِنْهُ آيَةٌ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will decree that the Kaaba will be crushed. The Kaaba will be destroyed at the hands of an Abyssinian, a disbeliever from Abyssinia. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will decree that the Kaaba be crushed because there's no benefit in it. La fa'ida fi wujud al-Kaaba. There's no benefit in the Kaaba because no one makes tawaf around the Kaaba anymore. Wa yarfa al-Qur'an. Allah will remove the Qur'an from the earth. For there will be no ayah, not one ayah from the Qur'an will be left on the earth. La fil mushaf, la fil masahif, wa la fil sudur. Not in the hearts of men who have memorized it, nor in the books. Wallahu subhanahu wa ta'ala yughar and yubqi kitabahu fil ardi la fa'ida wa la yu'mal bihi. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is too overprotective of his book to leave it on the earth where people do not value it, people do not take advantage of it, and people don't act upon it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves this book too much to leave it on the earth and people not take advantage of it. In ending, brothers and sisters, take advantage of your time. That doesn't mean that you have to spend your entire day reading Quran, making salat, making dhikr for your entire day. We have leisure time in our religion. We have time to play in our religion. But there should be a portion of your day that you dedicate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Where all tablets go off, all phones go off, all TVs go off, and we spend some time reading the Quran. Even if it's for an hour. An hour for the entire day, an hour, 1 hour out of 24 hours. Out of 16 hours. 8 is for sleeping. Out of 16 hours, 1 hour where you just read the Quran. Make dhikr. Spend some time making dua. Learn another dua. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us for our shortcomings. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us for the time that we have wasted in gossiping, in frivolous talk, in vain talk, and things that are unproductive, things that have brought us no benefit, no return on our investment. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us for our taqsirat, for our shortcomings. O Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhab an-nar. Oh Allah, we ask you for the good of this life and the good of the hereafter and to save us from the hellfire. Allahumma rudd shabab al-muslimin ila dinihim raddan jamila. Oh Allah, return the youth of Islam, the youth of the Muslims, return them back to their religion with a good returning. Oh Allah, return the shabab, return our youth back to Islam with a beautiful return. Allahumma inna nas'aluka al-huda wat-tuqa wal-'alfafa wal-ghina. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم صل وسلم وزد وبارك على عبدك ورسولك محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين وأقم الصلاة.